This is an art collage novel video. I made this series so you guys can experience the story faster. The video will focus on the character's psychology, the images are for illustration purposes only. The evil spirit's body trembled when it heard this. It looked down at the blood fiends with pity in its eyes. After saying that, Yunxiao's figure flickered and disappeared from where he was standing. When he came to a flat ground, his face gradually turned solemn. The devil essence fruit was rooted in front of him, quietly waiting there without moving. Even the devil chi on the fruit had been withdrawn, not leaking out in the slightest. Perhaps it had discovered that the environment had changed, so it had restrained its aura to protect itself. Yunxiao stood beside the fruit for a while, his face full of contemplation. Suddenly, a green light flashed and the demonic dragon appeared beside him. This is just a small avatar of the devil. Are you afraid of him? It's just a clone, Yunxiao said lightly. But you can't underestimate it. Ingluo, what do you think will happen if I absorb it into my body and refine it? The demonic dragon's body trembled as he said in horror, you're joking, right? This thing is a great demon's clone, and it can't be compared to ordinary demonic chi. If you inhale it, I'm afraid you'll be completely finished. Yes, I'm also worried that I'll be possessed if I can't control myself, so I'm hesitant. However, I'm very curious. Yunxiao showed a cunning smile, which made the dragon's heart turn cold. Don't be stupid. The demon dragon was furious. Curiosity killed the cat. Don't you understand this? This is a great demon that has been suppressed for who knows how long. Do you really want to hang yourself and court death? Yunxiao's eyes flickered as he recited, it's not as serious as you think. Have you forgotten about the people in the Sea of Soul formation? All of them cultivated demonic techniques, and didn't Yu Shengfeng also steal Dijun's body? If I can successfully refine this demonic energy fruit, not only will my strength increase greatly, but my resistance to the power of demonic energy will also increase infinitely. In the future, Mother will no longer have to worry about me becoming demonic. You've already turned into a devil, how can you be possessed by the devil? The demonic dragon was speechless. Yunxiao grinned. If you don't want to live for 30 years, how can you live for 60 years? He said. Demonic dragon was dejected. He knew Yunxiao's character, and there had never been any force that could stop him from trying those risky thoughts. I'm still counting on you to recover your strength as soon as possible and help me refine a body. I'm really worried that once you become a devil, you might have the idea to refine me out. Then you should pray. Yunxiao laughed and then walked toward the fruit. The fruit seemed to have sensed the danger. Its entire branches and vines began to sway. It suddenly pulled its roots up from the ground and fled to the horizon. Yunxiao chuckled, and the surrounding scene kept changing. No matter how the fruit tried to escape, it was getting closer and closer to Yunxiao. I heard from the skeleton that this true demonic chi was formed at the beginning of chaos. The Tao turned into one, and one turned into three pure ones. It evolved from a wisp of pure chi, so its power is not below the Great One's celestial chi. Let me see how powerful you are. With a solemn look on his face, Yunxiao reached out his right hand and grabbed the demon fruit. A stream of demonic chi shot out from the fruit and formed a black barrier, blocking his hand. But in just a moment, the barrier burst like a bubble, and Yunxiao's palm suddenly thrust into the black fruit, penetrating it as if it had fallen into a swamp. Bang! The moment Yunxiao's arm reached into the fruit, it exploded, and its demonic energy scattered in all directions. A black light rushed out of it and fled into the sky. The demonic energy that spread out corroded Yunxiao's body and stuck to his skin, corroding it like sulfuric acid. But to Yunxiao, it was just a tickle. He raised his hand, and the man in the sky who looked like Di suddenly felt a great pressure and was shaken down. Without saying a word, Yunxiao clutched the man's neck with one hand. The power of rules of the divine realm tablet spread around him, pressing down on the devil's body until it gradually deformed and shattered with a bang. The broken devil turned into a cloud of devilish energy that climbed up Yunxiao's arm and wrapped him up. It then penetrated into his body through his 7 orifices, trying to demonize him completely. The demon dragon was terrified. He immediately transformed into his human form and held the dragon bone bead in his hand while slowly circulating his dragon essence. If Yunxiao showed any sign of abnormality, he would try to suppress the fiend with his dragon breath. At that moment, Yunxiao's body had turned pitch black, and he was protected by the mass of fiend energy. He made a hand seal and sat down cross-legged in the air, then entered his inner world and began to fight with the fiend energy. Yunxiao first used the Great Expansion Divine Technique, and the trace of spiritual energy above his dantian seemed to be touched. It immediately shone brightly and swam through his meridians, turning into golden tadpole-like characters that protected his spiritual altar and sea of consciousness. As long as his spiritual altar was not destroyed and his sea of consciousness was protected, he was not afraid of the demonic chi entering his body. At this moment, he had used all of his imperishable golden body, but he still couldn't resist the invasion of such a powerful devil chi. The luster on his skin had faded, and all kinds of strange patterns were printed on it. Moreover, they were constantly changing shape, as if they were eating away at this body. Yunxiao's eyes snapped open, turning into blood moons. He threw his head back and roared, and a huge amount of demonic energy burst out of his body, forcing the demonic dragon dozens of meters back in the distance. You want to refine me? You're looking down on me. A strange laugh suddenly came out of Yunxiao's throat, and his face began to twist, gradually turning into Di's ferocious look. The demon dragon was shocked and immediately made a move. He cast a magic art and threw the dragon bone bead into the air. All kinds of lights shone out of the bead, forming a pattern. Then, it shot out a beam of green light, which covered Yunxiao like the morning sun. At the same time, a strange and incomprehensible dragon language came out of the dragon's mouth, shaking Yunxiao's heart and driving away his evil thoughts. Don't worry, I'll be fine. The third eye on Yunxiao's forehead opened, revealing a bright light. The demonic look was instantly gone as he said, this true demonic chi is the source of the demonic lord's clone, so it has a certain level of intelligence. Refining it won't be possible in a day. I'll be fine in this divine realm tablet, so you can rest assured. But it'll be troublesome if I go out. I told you to stop playing. What are you doing now? The demonic dragon was shocked. We'll be fine? You think too highly of yourself. Since you know that I'm the demon master's avatar, you still dare to be so presumptuous. The patterns on Yunxiao's body were constantly changing, as if some kind of restriction and array had been branded on him. His face twisted again, turning into Di's face as he said coldly, "You annoying bug." He suddenly waved his hand, and a stream of demonic chi shot out and immediately bombarded the green bone pearl. The pearl was instantly contaminated, and the dragon breath was extinguished. At the same time, the backlash from the pearl also entered the demonic dragon's body, causing his soul to tremble and retreat. He's actually this strong. Demonic dragon's face changed. The strength of the devil was far beyond his imagination, and Yunxiao was actually fighting against it. He could not help but feel a chill run down his spine as he said angrily, "Madman, he was really a madman, he deserved to die." After the move, Yunxiao's right hand trembled violently, and his face changed rapidly, as if he was fighting for control. Finally, his right hand formed an incantation seal. With a flash of light, a white light appeared in his palm, emitting a bright and soft light that warmed people's hearts. At the center of the white light was the moon pearl of the East Sea. As soon as it appeared, it shone with Yunxiao's divine body. As the white light shone down, beams of bright moon divine light shot out of Yunxiao's body, dispelling all the demonic patterns on his skin, and his expression returned to normal. Phew, it's a little tricky. Are you okay? Yunxiao sighed and said to the dragon with a wry smile. A little tricky, the demonic dragon said angrily. I think he's completely done for. If you're already like this in the divine realm tablet, can you still maintain a moment of consciousness when you go out? Yunxiao sighed. You can only gain something if you give up. Although it's very dangerous for the demonic energy to enter your body, the benefits are also indescribable. At this moment, the true devil chi is continuously flowing into my dantian. I'm afraid I'll be able to advance in rank very soon. As soon as he finished speaking, a ray of light appeared on his body, which was the sign of a martial honor breaking through. When he had been collecting the true dragon's tear, he had broken through to the 2-star level with the help of the skeleton. It had only been half a month since then, and he had directly broken through to the level of a 4-star martial supreme. Moreover, the demonic energy seemed to be endless, and it was still washing over his body, growing rapidly. Humph. The demonic dragon snorted coldly. The conditions are too unbalanced. You've lost more than you gained. Your sister, you're always nagging here. How annoying. At the moment of advancement, Yunxiao's face turned ferocious again. It was covered with dense black lines, which extended to his forehead but were blocked by a force. He glared at the dragon and shouted, "One more word of nonsense and I'll refine you before you even turn demonic." The demon dragon was taken aback. Yunxiao did look clear-minded at the moment, but there was a hint of ruthlessness in his eyes, as if he had become violent under the influence of the demonic aura. The moonlight on his body was slowly fading. Suddenly, a force came from the sky, and a figure fell from the sky and sat down cross-legged in front of Yunxiao, asking with concern, "Restrain your mind." Yunxiao's heart jolted. The person was a beautiful figure, and a faint fragrance assailed his nose. It was Luo Yunxiang. When she used the 9-yang true skill, it immediately shone with her moon body and gradually suppressed the violent aura. At the moment, the moon pearl was still floating above Yunxiao, but its power was getting weaker and weaker, as if it would be extinguished at any moment. At that moment, Yunxiang was shrouded in a red cloud, like the first light of dawn. The sun was rising, and it had fused with Yunxiao's bright moon divine light. The demonic dragon was taken aback. He had never paid much attention to Yunxiang's cultivation base, but at this moment, he found that she was already a martial honor. As soon as Yunxiang's divine body of 9 yang appeared, the moonlight in Yunxiao's body burst out and grew stronger again, suppressing the fierceness in his body and clearing his mind. Yunxiao was slightly taken aback, but he also felt the subtle change in his personality. He immediately closed his eyes and began to cultivate with Yunxiang. The two divine body lights snuggled up and merged with each other, gradually turning into a serene aura that spread out in the surroundings. The demonic dragon was taken aback for a moment, but then he breathed a sigh of relief. At least for now, the true demonic energy had been suppressed, but it was still a huge hidden danger. He could not help but feel angry at Yunxiao's nonsensical and risky character. Although there would not be any accidents in the Divine Realm tablet, the demonic dragon still transformed into its dragon body and hovered above the two of them, quietly protecting them. Moreover, the harmonious qi that dissolved and blended with the water made him feel extremely comfortable, and he entered a state of selflessness. Time passed by slowly. The two of them cultivated like this for 3 months. It was not until Yunxiao's body glowed with the light of advancement, and he broke through to 5 stars martial supreme, that he woke up from that state. You're awake. Yunxiang snorted and gently wiped the sweat from her forehead as she asked with concern, "How do you feel now?" Yunxiao had a strange feeling in his heart as he looked at her delicate and moving face. When Luo Yunxiang found the other party staring at her, she blushed and said angrily, "I'm asking you a question." She couldn't help but be secretly happy. Thinking of this, she thought of the embarrassing situation last time and felt a burst of shyness, her face turning even redder. "Much better," Yunxiao said with a wry smile. "I just find it strange. I've broken through a star, but why is your cultivation base not moving at all? Could it be that after the 9 suns body becomes a martial honor, it's extremely difficult to advance each level?" Only then did Yunxiang's face recover a little. She shook her head and said, "If there's no law, then that's it. I remember Master once said that after the 9 sun divine body becomes a martial supreme, one must go to a place to open the door to the back." Oh. There was such a situation? Where is it? Is that place in the Divine Firmament Palace? Yunxiao asked in surprise. Is that place inside the Divine Firmament Palace? Yunxiang laughed. It's Shinshao Palace's territory, but it's not inside. I don't know the details, but I'll know when I get there. Yunxiao nodded. In that case, let's go first. I'll go with you. No need, I can go alone. Although Li Yunxiao was delighted, she refused flatly and said seriously, this is a secret of our Shenshao palace. It's not appropriate for others to know. Yunxiao was taken aback, but when he saw the determination on Yunxiang's face, he nodded and said, then be careful. The nearest teleportation formation is near the Blood God Palace. I'll go with you. Yes. Yunxiang responded softly, her voice as soft as a mosquito's. Sigh, trouble is coming. The demonic dragon suddenly said in a strange manner before disappearing in a flash of light. Yunxiao looked up and saw a white beam of light flying over, turning into a slender figure. It was Ding Ling. Her face blushed slightly as she said, so Sister Yunxiang is here too. Recalling that Ding Ling had found out what had happened that day, Yunxiang blushed, not feeling particularly embarrassed. A subtle atmosphere spread between the three of them, and it was very awkward. Ding Ling had been in the Chamber of Commerce for a long time, and she was good at adjusting the atmosphere. Sister Yunxiang, young Master Yun, I'm here to bid you farewell. Farewell? Yunxiao and Yunxiang cried out at the same time. They looked a little embarrassed, but soon they asked at the same time, why? At that moment, even Yunxiao felt that the atmosphere was not right, so he quickly shut his mouth and stopped talking. Ding Ling felt a little sour in her heart and thought, they even had a tacit understanding when they spoke. Thinking of this, they felt sad, but they still forced a smile and said, I've been in the Divine Realm tablet for a long time. After the battle in Songhua Yang City, I don't know anything about the Merchant Union and Tianyuan Trading Company. Besides, no one knows if I'm dead or alive. I'm afraid it has caused a lot of disturbances. I have to show up now, or Tianyuan Trading Company will be in chaos. Yunxiang asked carefully, is that really the reason? Not because of Yingluo or some other reason? That's a strange question, Sister Yunxiang, Ding Ling said with a wry smile. What other reason could it be? No. Yunxiang shook her head hurriedly. I'm just asking. But she immediately added, actually, there's nothing between me and young Master Yun. Ding Ling's heart was filled with jealousy, and she mumbled, why is big sister becoming stranger and stranger? Did I say anything about you and young Master Yun? Also, what does it have to do with me whether there's anything between you two? Yingluo. In the end, she laughed at herself a few times and felt even more aggrieved. She had originally come to say goodbye and wanted to fulfill their wish, but before she left, she couldn't help but feel jealous and inexplicable grievances in her heart. She hurriedly used her internal energy to seal her tear glands, afraid that she couldn't help but shed tears and make a fool of herself. But even so, she felt her eyes sting more and more. Luo Yunxiang immediately realized that her random explanation had only added to the mess, so she stammered and did not know what to do. Yunxiao laughed awkwardly and said, it's good that they're all gone. It's much more peaceful in the Divine Realm tablet. I hope you'll be busy for a while and don't come back so soon. Ding Ling was stunned and asked, what do you mean? Big sister is also leaving? Yunxiang nodded and explained her situation. I could have been a little more at ease with you around, but if everyone leaves now, who's going to take care of young Master Yun? Ding Ling's eyes turned slightly red. She suddenly felt that she should not have been so jealous just now. Little sister has something to do, so I have to do it. Big sister can stay for a while longer. No. Yunxiang shook her head and said, cultivation can't be delayed. She felt a little depressed. She had been a burden for so long. Although hiding in the Divine Realm tablet would not make her fall behind, she still felt sad that she could not help Yunxiao. So, she had been cultivating day and night, and the Southern Fire golden crystal source Yunxiao had given her was almost used up. With the special constitution of the Nine Yang divine body, she was surprisingly fast in breaking through from a martial emperor to a martial honor. It was a pity that a bottleneck had appeared after she had reached the rank of martial honor. At first, she had wanted to try to break through by herself, but she finally realized that she was powerless. She had to go to the place that her master had told her. Only then did he reluctantly come to say goodbye to Yunxiao, who happened to be possessed by the devil. After cultivating with Yunxiao's divine body for so long, the latter's body, which was extremely difficult to improve, had advanced a level, which further strengthened her idea of leaving. Ding Ling was the same. If it weren't for the fact that the Chamber of Commerce's business was so important that they couldn't do without her as their backbone, she wouldn't have left. The two of them seemed to see through each other's thoughts and suddenly smiled at each other. In that case, let's go together, Ding Ling said with a smile. Yunxiao nodded. Although we're going in different directions, we're all going to the Blood God Palace's teleportation array. So, we're going the same way. As the two laughed, Yunxiao suddenly felt as if the clouds had scattered and the sky had been cleared. Although they did not do anything, Yunxiao felt as if the sky had finally cleared up. Looking at their backs as they left hand in hand, he felt a strange feeling in his heart. AI. Suddenly, Xiao Huanghalian's long sigh came from the sky. He said emotionally, "There is only love in the spring moon, like the flower falling from the sky. Leaning on the pillar, I'm so melancholic, a spring dream." Bang. A very heavy sound came from the void, and Xiao Huanghalian's voice was dragged to a stop. Mo Xiaochuan said, "It's fine now, young Master Yun. Please continue." Yunxiao's face was covered in sweat. In a flash, he left the Divine Realm tablet and carefully examined his body. The true devil chi had been suppressed by his bright moon divine body, but as the dragon had feared, he did not know how long it could be suppressed. However, the benefits of absorbing the demonic energy fruit were also huge. Not only did it allow him to advance 2 ranks, but his resistance to the corrosion of the demonic energy was also rapidly strengthened. Yunxiao's heart stirred as he slowly drew out a strange symbol with both hands in front of him. It turned out to be a demonic seal formed by a ball of demonic energy, which was the same as the great demon. It's indeed useful. Yunxiao was overjoyed. One of his main reasons for refining the devil energy fruit was to cultivate the Dharma power left behind by the skeleton. After practicing the Dharma power in his heart, he could basically master it. But, at this moment, the devil had just entered his body, so he did not dare to use it casually, for fear of losing control again. The demonic dragon's voice rang out, "I've thought of an item that can increase the power of your divine body. It's the moon pearl of the East Sea. Furthermore, the place where you obtained your divine body seems to have a great connection with the power of the pearl." "I've thought of it," Yunxiao nodded. "Otherwise, I wouldn't have taken it out when I was suppressing the devil. The moon pearls of the Eastern Sea are the most precious treasures produced in the Eastern Sea. It is said that if you can collect 24 of them, you can set up a set of beautiful phenomena called the 24 moonlit bridges, which can remove and suppress all abnormal situations. I've also heard of the 24 moonlit bridges, but rumors are always greater than the truth," the demonic dragon said. "It can't be that the abnormalities can be eliminated after becoming a demon slave, right?" "That's a good question," Yunxiao said thoughtfully. "When I collect all 24, I'll find a fiend slave and try it. If it works, I'll have another method to deal with fiends." The demonic dragon was speechless. "If you want to deal with the devil, I suggest you go find Hu Xingfeng. The devil essence lock in his hands is a strange item." Yunxiao chuckled. "I've planned to do so for a long time. Otherwise, I wouldn't have asked for a pass to the Sea of Soul formation. Whether or not Yu Xingfeng can refine Emperor Jun's body, he will definitely return to the Sea of Soul formation. It seems that I have to go to the Red Moon City first. That is the Holy Land of the Eastern region, and I should be able to collect a lot of Eastern Sea specialties, including the Eastern Sea Moon Pearl." After he made up his mind, he put away the Divine Realm tablet and turned into a ray of light, heading toward the Blood God Palace.